Hi, I'm Professor Prototype from the Ohio Invention League's Invention Convention program. I have with me today Christopher Wyche, Director for External Affairs at AT&T, and two Ohio Kid Inventors in recognition of Ohio's Kid Inventor Day celebration presented by AT&T. Gianna is a 10th grader from Tipp City, Ohio, and has been inventing since she was in the 5th grade. In 5th grade, she placed top 10 at state and represented Ohio at Invention Convention US Nationals. 6th grade, she earned first place at state and the Industry Innovation Award in Health and Medical Technology at Nationals. In 7th grade, she earned the Industry Innovator Award at state in sports games and toys and went on to earn Best Display Board as well as 2nd place in 7th grade at Nationals. In 8th grade, she was the industry innovator in health medical technology and earned 3rd place in 9th grade at Nationals. She is our 2020 State Edison Award recipient for the 6th through 12th grade division, the top award at state, which earned her a $2,500 529 College Advantage Savings Award and an invitation to represent Ohio at the 2021 Invention Convention US Nationals. Damian is a 9th grader from Columbus, Ohio, and has been inventing since he was in the 3rd grade. He earned 3rd place in 3rd grade in the Columbus City Schools District Invention Convention and went on to represent Columbus City Schools at our state convention in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 8th grade. He earned the Environmental Industry Innovator Award and will be representing the state at the 2021 Invention Convention US Nationals hosted at the Henry Ford as well. Gianna, please introduce yourself and share the names of your inventions and the problems you solved by inventing them.
Hi, my name is Gianna Nichols. I've been inventing for about 6 years now, and I started off with the magic hairband, and I continued with the Ariana Red Dye 40 detecting device, the Ritter Red device, the Blindingly Smart, and the Smart hairband, and finally with the Smart suit, which I invented this year, which is a PPE suit that will help protect people and doctors that use them while keeping them cool and helping them keep a level head while performing their job.
Thanks, Gianna. Damian, please introduce yourself and share the inventions you've created and the problems you've solved through your inventions.
Hi, my name is Damian Earley, and I've participated in Invention Convention 4 times. I started with a drone medical system that solved the problem of elderly people and disabled people who struggled to get medical supplies. And the following year, I made a dog butler that would help take care of it while the owner was gone. And in 5th grade, I made the art glove, which would solve the problem of young pianists who cannot reach large distances on the piano. And most recently, I created the garbage lot, which is a weight that prevents garbage bins from dumping trash bins into alleys.
Fantastic. Thank you, Damian. Christopher, would you like to start the conversation today?
Sure, I would. First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to be here and kind of hear from these young inventors. So I'm excited to hear from you and hear about your process and just kind of talk through your inventions. But my first question off the bat is really what's on everyone's mind. We're in the middle of the pandemic. It looks like there is some light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm curious through this whole school year, how have you kind of adjusted to, being in the house or sheltering at home due to the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic has certainly been a surprise. And it was kind of hard for me to adjust because before the pandemic, I was doing a lot of things, especially with Invention Convention and going everywhere and seeing people. So it was really a shock when we all had to stay home and do everything from home. But it really provided a chance for me to get creative with what I had at home and things that I could invent to help with the pandemic, which is why I made the Smart suit. And it just gave me a lot of time to think about different things that I could do to help change the world.
Yeah, I agree. The pandemic was definitely a difficult adjustment, but eventually I was able to find new hobbies and activities that I could pursue in. And I was able to find time to come up with new problems and further develop my invention Convention. And yeah, I was able to turn the negative into a positive.
No, that's great to hear, and I'm happy to hear that both of you have been able to kind of pivot in your own way to navigate this situation. It's never easy to kind of make that adjustment, and I think even in my own work life, we had to quickly figure out the best way to still accomplish our job during this time. So it's nice to see you guys being able to find this time and be useful with it. So I think another question that comes to mind is, how did you kind of get into inventing? Was this something you felt was just always in you, or was there someone else that kind of encouraged you to kind of go down this path?
I first started inventing when I was in second grade, and I would just put together random objects and try to make them into certain contraptions. And when I heard of Invention Convention, when they came to my elementary school, I got really excited, and I decided to participate the following year in third grade and the next following years. And it really became something big in my life.
Damian, what do you think it is about inventing that really hooked you and kept you going back and finding another problem? What makes it different than other activities that you've taken part in or that you may take part in right now?
Well, inventing has always been interesting to me because, I mean, you see a lot of problems in the everyday world, and I just came up with solutions. And so I decided to go to Invention Convention and try to invent more solutions for more problems. And I think it is a very creative way of using our skills.
And Gianna?
Well, I started inventing, I guess, ever since I was little, although I don't really remember much of it. But my mom tells me that I used to play around with our old appliances that had already broken, and I take them apart and take a look at what was in the inside. But I didn't join the Invention Convention program until I was in fifth grade, mostly because I was really scared of public speaking. And in fourth grade, I could have done it, but I decided not to. But I'm really glad that I did eventually decide to join the program because it's been such an experience.
Addressing, Gianna, something that you just said about that fear of public speaking, one of the things I think is always interesting to hear from you all is what is it that you think you've gained the most from inventing? And that can be skills that you've developed and that you've made stronger, or that you realized you had that you didn't know you were strong in. So let's talk about the skills that you have developed and made stronger through inventing.
With the public speaking, of course, I definitely think that improved a little bit because the way that the judging circles were set up with all your peers kind of supporting you as you're being judged, it really made a comfortable environment and helped me learn that this isn't so bad. I can speak to other people and not freeze up every second. And I think that my critical thinking skills have really improved too. Because again, with the peers, they really opened my eyes to different ways that I could improve inventions or different things that I could help change that I didn't even think about before.
I also had some communication problems that I was able to solve through Invention Convention, through public speaking, and it helped expand my communication skills. And I also used problem-solving skills that I developed through Invention Convention to solve difficult or easy problems. And I think I just developed my overall creativity through Invention Convention.
I'll just say, for someone who does public speaking often, you're always nervous, and the more practice you get doing it, the more comfortable you get. But it's always something in the back of your mind that as you're going to walk up the steps to speak, you're probably going to trip or knock something over. So that fear is always there, even as an adult. So just know that this practice that you're putting in now with Invention is definitely going to serve you very well into the future. Kind of curious though, given your love for inventing, are there other STEM related programs that you guys are involved in at your school? And if so, how's it kind of different from the convention?
So I participated in a lot of STEM events outside of school, STEM camps that I had never even thought of participating in before Invention Convention. Like I participated in techie camps in programming and robotics and Lego robotics. And I just found new interests in STEM camps through Invention Convention. And what makes Invention Convention so special is that you're not just using these technological skills, but you're also solving problems and solving everyday problems that you would encounter.
In outside of school, I do participate in a few STEM related activities. So Girls Who Code, we do have a STEM club, and a few STEM camps that I do participate in have kind of been influenced by Invention Convention too, kind of like what Damian said. And a few of the camps that I've been in, what I found is that in Invention Convention, I developed skills that helped me during those summer camps. So definitely the public speaking, as we were talking about, that was something that I really struggled with. And then Invention Convention helped me with that. That way I was able to succeed a little bit more in those summer camps.
Well, it's really great to hear from both of you about how Invention Convention opened up a new interest for some of you, realizations that you needed to seek out or could learn more STEM skills. I know, Gianna, that you have shared in the past that you actually didn't necessarily know that science, technology, engineering, and math were something that you were really interested in. You were more of a creative kid and that you like to make things. Do you want to talk a little bit about that connection between being a maker and a creative person and using STEM skills?
Well, ever since I was little, I loved drawing, and I didn't like math very much or science. It never really interested me, and I always thought that the classes were boring. And I was always very drawn to drawing, and I guess that I never realized that those two could be so closely related. Because once I started Invention Convention, I think that the program really helps you be creative. It gives you more freedom to think on your own and create different solutions. So I think that really helped me realize how much I really did like science and math, because it intertwined so well with the creative, artsy side of me too.
So let me ask, why do you think it's important for high school students and all K through 12 Ohio students to have opportunities like this to participate in an invention education program?
Well, I think it's very important for all students to develop these skills in both public speaking and communication, and also in designing and problem solving, because they're skills that you use throughout your life, and it can open up to new career options, and it will help you for the rest of your life.
So personally, I know that my school is a little bit more sports oriented, and there isn't too much support in the STEM area. So I think that it's really important for high school students to get involved with programs such as the Invention Convention program. And I noticed that when we were younger, I think they were a little bit more involved, I guess, in the idea of inventing, and they just didn't realize that as they got older, I think they lost interest. But I go to school and I see people every day still using their critical thinking skills and inventing things every day, and they just don't realize that they could use those skills to help better other people or make something big to help change other people's lives.
I love that. Those interpersonal skills that are developed, even if you don't become a great inventor, are still very important to your future development. So thank you both for kind of sharing that.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, Chris. And I was thinking, inventors, as high school inventors now, you did start off as those early inventors. How do you feel your inventions or your ability to solve problems have changed or improved as you've continued to invent at a variety of grade levels? Like, what are you doing different now as a high school inventor than maybe you were doing as a third grader?
Well, as a third grader and a fourth grader, I still like to solve problems, but I would do it in such a broad fashion. Whereas later on, I would learn how to solve specific problems, and I learned how to research more into my problems and into my solutions throughout the years. And I feel like I improved my solutions as the years went on.
I think when I was younger, I used to invent in more of a wild way, I guess. It was I just let my imagination completely run loose. I would think of solutions to problems, but the solutions would be like really crazy, and it would look like it wouldn't work at all. It would like take some sort of magic or something to hold everything together. And I guess I still kind of kept that as I got older. I like to think that nothing really can be impossible until proven otherwise. So I kind of took what I had when I was younger, the wild inventing craze that I had, and then I developed it in a way that I could still think outside of the box, but make it a little bit more realistic and a little bit more achievable. And that way I could work towards my goals while still having that creative aspect to everything.
People talk about that out of box thinking all the time. So don't lose that creativity. So if you believe somehow pulling the moon closer to Earth is going to solve this problem, then let's just figure out the steps to get there. With that being said, so what does the future kind of hold for you? What are your career interests or goals?
I think since I started Invention Convention, my career path has kind of changed. At first, I was thinking that I just wanted to be an artist. And I still do want to be an artist, but in a different way, since I want to go into engineering. So I can still build and create, and I can put a little bit more of a mechanical aspect into my inventions. That way it would be easier to understand different things. And I hope that one day I can have some sort of business surrounding inventing. That way I can help encourage other people to invent too.
Ever since I started Invention Convention, I always had a love for engineering, and I wanted to be a robotics engineer for 6 or 7 years. But this past year, I decided I wanted to be a civil engineer because I get to use my designing abilities, like the Designing Invention Convention, to create not only solutions to problems, but create bridges and sewage systems and transportation systems in big cities. And I also want to use my problem-solving skills to one day become an entrepreneur. And Invention Convention helped me with those two things.
You all are just making me so proud and excited. That is such great aspirations for you both to have. And certainly the skills that you've both been building through inventing will help you as you continue to pursue those interests.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. And if there is an interest in kind of hearing from some engineers who can kind of talk through what their career path has been, whether that be on the private side or civil engineering with folks in the city, please let us know. I'm happy to kind of make those connections, because the more we can kind of get folks to continue to encourage you to go down this path, the better you will be, and the better we will be as a society by having people who have an interest in actually solving everyday problems to support their community. So please let me know if there's anything I can do to kind of continue to help and support you on your journey. One more question from me. What advice would you give for other K through 12 students kind of considering problem solving through invention?
My advice for young inventors or any inventors K through 12 would be that the design process is going to be difficult, but in the end, when you persevere, it will be worth it. And that you will take a lot of skills away from Invention Convention and any inventing, such as problem solving, new creativity, new communication skills, or designing skills like I take away from it. And you can really use them for the rest of your life and become something great.
I think my advice would be kind of like Damian's, but I just think that you should never give up on what you think could be possible. Because I know that I had a lot of issues with getting discouraged, and I had a hard time with quite a few of the inventions, and it takes a lot of prototypes to get to a final product for sure. So I think just as long as you keep thinking, keep your mind turning, and keep thinking of ideas, I think that you're set on your invention journey. And I think that they shouldn't be afraid to ask for help for a fresh perspective on your invention. I know that my mom has definitely helped me a lot with that. That way I could take a look at my invention from a new perspective and not keep hitting a brick wall with just one way that I was looking at it.
I think that collaboration part is so important, and it is a great opportunity for families and friends to work together to solve a problem, to pull on one another's strengths, and to learn from one another. Really, I have heard over the years, and I know that both of these inventors have shared as well, their parents or family members are teaching them, how to sew, and they're interested in doing that now because they have a reason, like they're trying to build a prototype that they need to sew something, or they need a skill like learning how to weld something, and that's going to need adult supervision. And every time you engage in those types of activities and learn those new skills, you just make your toolbox of skills in life so much richer. So I love it that you touched on that collaboration part, Gianna. Very nice.
A lot of the different science competitions that I've participated in were definitely different from Invention Convention in the way that Invention Convention makes everything so fun. And I know that every time I go to a competition, there's always music and everyone's always having fun. It's not really a stressful environment and everyone's so supportive. And I just think that's a really great way to grow in inventing and in life skills and everything. So I just wanted to say that.
I will just say this as we wrap up. Thank you so much. I appreciate both of you, Damian and Gianna, for being here and kind of sharing your thoughts on the invention process and how things are going during the pandemic. We know it's not easy. We at AT&T are excited to continue to encourage this type of thought process and this type of programming. We know how important these STEM education and skill building that you're getting through Invention Convention is to our society as a whole, whether that be working with companies like AT&T or anywhere else. So the more we can do to encourage you, the better. I would definitely encourage you all to continue to go down this line of thinking. And as I stated earlier, if there's anything we can do or connections that we can make to kind of help you on your journey, please let us know, because again, this skill development is important to us and it is important to society as well.